excited about the memorial, although I'm not sure that Marilyn's on board when it comes to only observing and not partaking. I told her that our hope is here on paradise earth. But I don't understand why that's so difficult for her to understand. I think it's wonderful.
I know, because for you it's very exciting, but just keep in mind that we're not trying to tell anybody what to do. It's a very difficult concept for them. And so what we really want to do is really just point out that there are two hopes that the Bible teaches and holds out for all of mankind. And that each one of these is crucial in the outworking of Jehovah's purpose. So set it up like that. And then, for example, when you're trying to explain what the hope for those that do go to heaven and would be partaking that evening, you could maybe ask her to turn to Luke chapter 12, or chapter 22 rather, and verse 29, and just kind of get her thinking about what took place that evening and just set up what Jesus was really getting going, okay? So why don't you turn to Luke 22:29 and read that.
And I make a covenant with you, just as my Father had made a covenant with me for a kingdom.
Okay, good. So from that text, what questions do you think that you could ask her to draw her out and get her to start thinking this through?
Well, I guess I can ask her who was Jesus speaking with. Okay, his disciples.
Good, okay.
And then I guess I can ask her if she understands what a covenant means.
Very good. So two very important things are mentioned there. So, I was thinking that because the two of you are in the mortgage business, when you pose the question about what a covenant is and you explain to her that it's an agreement or a contract, you guys are very familiar with that. So you could point out, just kind of draw on that and point out that with a contract there are parties involved, there are requirements, there's a way to validate the contract, all those things. And so that comes into play here when Jesus was setting up this contract with his disciples. It's like when you have a loan for a home, a whole family benefits from that home, but that agreement is really between the lender and the person that qualifies for it, right? Even the others benefit. So Jesus was making an agreement, remember in that verse, with them that had, based on a promise that had already been made by his Father, so that all of mankind then could benefit, but other things had to take place first before all of mankind could benefit. So just get her kind of thinking about that, and at that point maybe turn her to John 14, and because that really shows then what Jesus did as he's making this agreement with them, he's also making other preparations. So in John chapter 14, if you look at verse 2, for example, he's letting them know that he's going back to his Father. He said, in the house of my Father, or in heaven, there are many abodes. And then notice it says, I am going my way to prepare a place for you.
Janet, that's really great, but what happens if she still insists that she's part of that agreement?
Well, that can happen, and many do, and it's a difficult concept for many to grasp. But again, what you want to do is just take her back to God's Word. You're just asking her to see, what does the Bible teach us on this subject? So at that point, you can ask her, well, does the Bible really teach that agreement was made or passed on to all mankind? What does the Bible tell us about that? And so then if you turn back to Luke, chapter 12, in verse 32, why don't you read that and see how that can help us in explaining this.
Have no fear, little flock, because your Father has approved and given you the kingdom.
Okay, so again, there's two keys there. He mentions a little flock, so not all of mankind, and again he brings in that kingdom.
Oh, I see. And then maybe I can take it to Revelations 14 and show her the actual number.
Perfect. Yeah, a little flock, and there's actually a definite number that the Bible holds out. So now remember, go back to that and focus on the fact that it's a little flock. So you could ask her, why would Jesus use that word, that adjective, little? Little in comparison to what? Well, in comparison to all of mankind, the rest of mankind. So you can then point out that Jesus was really making a special assignment available to these ones as part of that kingdom or that government.
I think that government issue is piece, and how those taking on this assignment would have to be carefully selected by Jehovah himself.
That's perfect, that's it exactly. Just like right now, government is being chosen, people want to select who they think will bring benefits to their state, to their country, the same way.